WWE TLC is now only a few nights away, and it will be the last pay-per-view of the year. WWE has done well to build several big storylines on both Raw and SmackDown heading into TLC. On Sunday, Sasha Banks will defend her SmackDown Women's Championship against Carmella. Randy Orton will face off against the Fiend Bray Wyatt for the first time. On the other hand, the New Day will defend their Raw Tag Team titles against the Hurt Business. In one of the two TLC matches of the night, Roman Reigns will put his Universal Championship on the line against Kevin Owens. However, it's the other TLC match between Drew McIntyre and AJ Styles that could end up stealing the show. WWE has built this matchup very well so far, and given how talented the two stars are, they could end up having the match of the night at TLC. There is also the added threat of The Miz cashing in his Money in the Bank contract that the two will have to be wary of. With that in mind, we look at the 5 ways the match between Drew McIntyre and AJ Styles could finish at TLC. Number 5. Amos helps AJ Styles become the new WWE Champion at TLC. Drew McIntyre will face one of his biggest challenges to date at WWE TLC when he faces AJ Styles. The Phenomenal One is one of the top wrestlers in the business today and will do everything in his power to win the top prize in WWE. AJ Styles recently hired Amos as his bodyguard, and the Mammoth Man has been terrorizing Styles' opponents over the past few weeks. Amos could end up playing a major role in Styles' WWE Championship match at TLC. During the match, Amos could attack McIntyre or even distract him enough to help AJ Styles land the phenomenal forearm to pick up the victory. WWE has already taken the title off McIntyre once this year before handing it back to him almost immediately, and they could do the same once again. We could see Styles become the WWE Champion with the help of Amos, and then soon lose the title in the months to come. Number 4. Sheamus helps Drew McIntyre retain his WWE Championship and attacks him after the match at TLC. Sheamus has become an integral part of Drew McIntyre's storyline in recent weeks. The two men have a history, and it seems like WWE will use that in the months to come. After weeks of teasing, Sheamus could finally turn on his friend Drew McIntyre at TLC. Last week on Raw, Sheamus and McIntyre teamed up to face The Miz and John Morrison. The Celtic Warrior attempted a brogue kick on Morrison but ended up hitting the WWE Champion by mistake. The two men brawled backstage but made up soon after. Seeing how their love-hate relationship is going, Sheamus could help his friend retain the title at TLC after AJ Styles take McIntyre to his limits. This, however, could drive a wedge between Sheamus and McIntyre, as the Scottish psychopath would not be too pleased with the Celtic Warrior helping him. This could result in Sheamus taking down McIntyre with a brogue kick and viciously assault the WWE Champion. The angle would immediately set up towards McIntyre's next storyline that would see him defend his WWE title against his real-life friend on Raw. Number 3. The Miz cashes in his Money in the Bank briefcase, gets pinned at WWE TLC. The build-up for the match between Drew McIntyre and AJ Styles at TLC has been great so far, especially with several superstars featuring in the storyline. The Miz has been a regular part of it as well, given that he is Mr. Money in the Bank. Since defeating Otis for the briefcase, The Miz has been looking for the perfect opportunity to cash in his contract on the WWE Champion. While The Miz has had second thoughts about cashing in the contract on a few occasions, he could find a way into the match at WWE TLC. However, the nature of the TLC match gives The Miz a great opportunity to cash in his contract. But not all Money in the Bank cash-ins are successful, and given how badly the briefcase has been treated this year, it wouldn't be a surprise if WWE decides to hand Miz the loss. This finish will help WWE finally take the MIT briefcase out of the equation. It will also leave the door open to a rematch between McIntyre and Styles for the title, with the Phenomenal One not being involved in the ending of the match. WWE could benefit from a long-term booking between the two men, starting with a possible rematch at an upcoming pay-per-view. Number 2. The WWE Championship match at TLC ends in disqualification. Drew McIntyre and AJ Styles will likely put on a great match at WWE TLC. It is not just the fans who wanted this match to happen, but even Drew McIntyre has stated in interviews that he has always wanted to face AJ Styles. While this could be a one-off match between the two men, WWE could decide to stretch this rivalry longer. Styles is one of the best in the business right now, and McIntyre is only going to benefit from a long feud with the Phenomenal One. Taking that into consideration, WWE could end the match with a dodgy finish, but not before AJ Styles and Drew McIntyre put on a clinic at TLC. With so many superstars involved in this feud, it wouldn't be too difficult for WWE to pull off a disqualification. Such an ending would allow WWE to rebook the match for a later date and extend the rivalry between the two men. While there is no dearth of superstars who want a shot at Drew McIntyre's WWE Championship, a rather lengthy feud with AJ Styles could become the highlight of his second reign. Number 1. Drew McIntyre takes down AJ Styles with the Claymore to retain the WWE Championship at TLC. Drew McIntyre has been performing at the highest level since the beginning of the year. After his victory at the 2020 Royal Rumble, the Scottish psychopath has steamrolled his way to the top. But can he finish on top at TLC? Though McIntyre did lose the WWE Championship to Randy Orton, it took him less than a month to reclaim the title. Apart from Orton, AJ Styles has been the only other superstar who has appeared a major threat to McIntyre. If the Scottish psychopath does manage to beat Styles clean, it would certainly send a strong message to the rest of the Raw roster. Drew McIntyre has Claymore kicked his way through all the challengers, and if he manages to land the kick on AJ Styles at TLC, the Scottish psychopath is certain to retain his WWE Championship. This would be the perfect way to end McIntyre's year. He's been on a great run, and allowing him to take down a superstar of Styles' stature would give him a lot more momentum heading into 2021.